Alrighty, so UFC Fight Night 254 according to Google has concluded. So we move on to UFC Fight Night 254 according to Google. Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. Now, in terms of names, this card's pretty good. And if you're new around here and wondering what I'm doing here, I do breakdowns on every single fight card. Every single weekend, including the dog shit ones like last weekend. And, I do it basically based off passion. I don't really bet money on these fights. Most of the time I don't bet money on these fights, but, I do this for a passion, I just love the sport. I love talking about it. I love debating people on picks, and, I like to hold a record. I'm slowly building my empire. Feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, get my content weekly. I upload anything I'm passionate about, including gaming and UFC topics. Anyways, with that being said, let's move into the card. So we got... Now, I'm recording this pretty early. I think it's actually Sunday. Holy shit, it's Sunday. Oh my god, it's Sunday. Fuck me. So yeah, I'm recording this on a Sunday, so if there's any sort of fight updates, fight cancellations, whatever, that won't be put into the final record that I like to do at the end of my videos. But also, if they add a fight to the card and I care about it, and it's not some, like, fucking two bums coming off, short notice debuts, missing 5 pounds at catchweight, maybe I'll do my prediction in the video description, so keep an eye out if you're curious about updates. But with that being said, let's get into the breakdown. Guram Kutaladze versus Keu Fernandez. I like Fernandez. I think he's pretty good. He got that knockout on Yaya. He looked good. Yaya is a 40-year-old man, not really the greatest experience, you know what I mean? Like, it's not really that credited of a win, yeah. Who else has he fought? Yeah, Ronnie, Ronnie, can we get some fucking, like... it's just gonna show. Wait, if I click on his name, it should show. What the fuck? Get the fuck off my screen. There we go. Here we go. This is a meat and potatoes. The fuck is this? Mark DeCasey? I recognize the name, but I can't picture the fighter for some reason right now. Now, I do think Fernandez is, like, not bad, but he's not really great either. He's kind of like a Manuel Torres in a way. Like, he's just... There's moments where you're like, okay, he's really good at this one thing, but he's kind of shit everywhere else, And I think Garam's, like, actually good. I don't think Garam's, like, insane, but he's the test to see if you can basically get to ranking in lightweight at some point, So I think Garam's going to be a good test here. I'm picking Garam. I don't look at the odds for fights. I'd imagine Garam's probably the favorite. He had that really good fight against, what's his name? Jordan Vucenic, which was a close fight, to be fair. And Vucenic is a little better than I think a lot of people thought. I think that was his debut as well. Rough debut. Could have been a robbery. But we know how, the UFC favors certain neckbeards. Just saying. The Ellsbrenner KO, that was great. Love Ellsbrenner. Demir got the KO, or decision, not KO. What am I talking about? But regardless, Garam's always, like, good. He's never, like, shit. So he's got to get either put out or, like, a robbery decision, aka a justified decision. But we know that's not really a thing when it comes to certain archetypes of the beard variety. Anyways, go with Garam. I think he's probably going to win by decision. Maybe gets a submission. I don't know. Like, I can't really trust Fernandez off that Ronnie Yaya performance, So I'm going with Garam. I actually gotta record this shit as well. I'll remember it. Anyways, moving on. We have Nathan Fletcher versus Galen Loughran. Galen Loughran, lad. Yeah, I don't really know anything about Nathan Fletcher. I haven't really paid too much attention to him. I do watch every single event for the past, like, 3 years. But, sometimes it's just foggy. There's a lot of fighters, alright? But, Callan's good. He's good. I believe he's coming off 2 losses, right? Yeah, he lost to Jake Hadley, which doesn't age very well. He did beat that guy. Okay, Taylor Lapilus isn't a bad loss. You know what? He's probably, shorter? Yeah, he's shorter. Reach disadvantage. Nathan Fletcher. What are we looking at? Alright, what are we looking at? What are we looking at here? Are we seeing finishes? What are we seeing here? Submissions? Nah, I don't think he's going to submit Callan McLaughlin, I don't think he's getting that, I don't even know who the fuck these names are. Con Ofley. Okay. He lost to Con Ofley. Are we serious? Okay. Yikes. That's not a good look. Not gonna lie. Any names I recognize here? No. Oh, I'm sorry. 0-0. Okay. Well, he's yeah. Oh wait, that's his record. 4-0. Okay. Okay, he's not fighting bums, to be fair. He lost to him, though. Bro, head kick? Ooh. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going Callan Loughran. I'm going with Callan. He's a tough guy. He's almost like a bantamweight Evan Elder, in a way, His grappling game isn't really great. Little worried he might get submitted. But outside of that, I think he'll keep it competitive, and he'll push forward, So I'm trusting Callan McLaughlin. We're going with the 30-27. Moving on. Shauna Banon. I'm assuming it's French. Probably not. Versus Tomar. So if you don't know, I do this really high-tech method. Some people We Want Picks. Shout out to them. One of the first YouTube channels I ever watched in the YouTube space of MMA. So, big respects to those guys. But, they use the Pick Doctor, or they'll, use the Fight Simulator, stuff like that, But, some people like the MMA guru, Lucas Tracy, and, the bedtime MMA tiers of YouTubers. You know what I mean. They use a lot of logic when it comes to predicting women's fights. Now, I use this very high-tech method that I think is, if you go back and look at my record here, last event, it was pretty flawless. It was 3-0, and that is a fucking coin, baby. That's what we're talking about. Now, we're going to spin this coin, and we're going to hope that we get heads is the left, tails is the right. Let's go. Oh, fuck, I dropped the coin. Well... let's do that again. Son of a bitch. Alright. What did I say? Heads is left? Alright, we got heads. Benon. We're going with Benon. She's slightly taller with the reach. Holy, 149 centimeters? Bro, why are you even competing? Is that a record for the lowest reach ever? I don't think I've ever seen someone have 140 centimeters, or in the 40s. That's wild. Alright. That's crazy. Wow. 149 centimeters, eh? Holy shit. She's got a meter stick between her chests. Jesus Christ. Anyways. Yeah, we're going with Shauna because of the coin. The coin has spoken. Moving on, we have Christian Leroy Duncan. It's going to be a 29-28 split decision. We know this. Moving on to Christian Leroy Duncan versus Andrei Puliev. This is a debut. This is going to be a debut, is it? It's going to be a fucking debut, eh? Okay. You know what? Christian Leroy Duncan looked really good. Or he's been looking really good. I don't know anything about this debut. Don't like debut fighters. Debut, typically, there's a lot of caveats around that. He did lose to Christian Leroy Christian Leroy Duncan lost to Gregory Rodriguez, which, I don't think his aged that poorly, because Gregory hits... he did lose to Jared, but, man, he hits like a fucking truck. He might have some of the hardest hitting punches or strikes in the UFC. Those body kicks in the beginning, man. Fuck. He just doesn't pace himself very well. He's built for 3 rounds. He's just one of those. He's like a Khalil Roundtree. They're just built for 3 rounds. They're not built for 5. You know. So I think Christian Leroy Duncan's gonna be tough enough to survive whatever the fuck this other guy has in his arsenal. You know. Christian Leroy Duncan looks like he's got good takedown defense so far. Looks like he's got pretty good striking so far. It looks like as long as he's not getting stung by shots, he'll probably keep the pace with you. So I think, unless he gets wobbled pretty bad, Christian Leroy Duncan's probably going to lock in. Honestly, he might get the finish, because it is middleweight, and middleweights are dog shit, and this is a debut middleweight. So I'm going to go with CLD. CLD by... You know, I'm gonna say a late finish, you know? I think he's gonna tear this guy apart, realize that Christian Leroy Duncan is just, like, the better fighter, and he's just gonna, you know... Haven't really seen anything from this Andre guy, but, you know, CLD by late finish. That's what we're going with. Anyways, moving on. Marcin Tybura versus Mick Parkin. Now, this has to be said, because I haven't watched any fucking YouTubers do their breakdowns of the fights. I can already imagine the British fans getting on their hands and knees fucking sucking off Mick Parkin. Mick Parkin is dog shit. Don't get it twisted. That 10-0 record... you know? When we look back at some of his fights, you know, that the KO over Lucas Brzeski, good win, right? Muhammad Usman could have been scored to Muhammad Usman. It was fucking close. Striking numbers are a little different, but this is mainly because Mick Parkin popped off in 1 round, but it was fucking close, you know? You could have arguably gave that to Muhammad Usman. The fight before that, I don't remember who it was, but it was also another close fight. It was the Kyle Machado one. Oh, and Jamal Pose. Bro, I forgot he fought these two as well. I swear this one was close. We're not going to be able to see numbers. I don't know how to navigate these fucking screens, I'll be honest with you, but he is a young prospect. Marcin Tybura is due for a chinning. He's getting... Oh my god, he's 39? Holy shit. How time flies, eh? Holy fuck. Marcin's terrible on the feet. Like, absolutely terrible. He's a normal heavyweight on the feet. Absolutely terrible. Mick Parkin isn't that good on the feet either. But I can trust Mick Parkin to, like, sort of survive against Tybura on the feet. And then it just comes down to, like, the grappling. I think Mick Parkin is smart enough to train with Aspinall, which I know he trains with, and I think he's going to be able to survive the takedowns. Like, I think this fight is probably going to look a lot like a Pereira Ankalaev or like a Corey Sandhagen Umar, where it's going to be Parkin not really doing a lot on the feet and just defending takedowns. So I am a little worried that we're going to get a decision here for Marcin Tybura, like a 29-28 split decision situation. But I'm going to go with Mick Parkin. I do think Mick Parkin's... Like, if we look at fighters 1-to-1, I think he's just slightly better. Is he taller? He is slightly taller. Marcin Tybura is a big dude. You know, at least he looks a big dude, like a big dude. You know? But Mick Parkin is just a fat heavyweight. I'm not going to be surprised if Tybura does Tybura things and just lays on Parkin. But I just think Parkin's smart enough to, like, alright, don't get taken down. If we get to the 3rd round, it might get a little risky, you know? But I think Tybura is due for a chinning. Mick Parkin could get the finish on the feet, but I'm leaning more towards a decision. Mick Parkin's more like a decision fighter. You know, I know he's coming off a KO. I'm not sold that this Mick Parkin guy is the future of heavyweight, you know what I mean? Just because he's 10-0 with 3 close decisions on his fucking record in the UFC. Well, I guess 2 technically. Can't remember if it was the Jamal Pokes one that was really close, or it was the one after that. I'm forgetting the names. Regardless, it's just fat fucks at heavyweights. Who cares? Moving on, we have Loner Kavanagh versus Felipe Dos Santos. A lot of people rate Felipe Dos Santos pretty highly because of the war he had with Manel Cap. Manel Cap obviously does Manel Cap things, even though he did cheat in his last fight to get that TKO, and the fight before that to get the nutshot TKO. But hey, the nutshot one was kind of deserved, let's be honest. The eye poke one, not so much, you know? Poor Asu Almabayev. I did pick Manel Cap in that fight, though. Anyways. Yeah, I think Felipe Dos Santos kind of shit. Now, Loner Kavanagh. There's nothing here that looks good. I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember, like, the name rings a bell, the fight does not, you know? And so far, it looks like he's fought, like, guys who shouldn't be in the fucking mix in the UFC. Any good names here? You know? Yeah. You know, draws, you know, amateur career, it is what it is, you know? Fuck, man. Ooh, this might be a clear... This might be like a... I don't know. Ooh, who did Felipe lose to last? It was Lima. That's who I thought it was. Interesting. Interesting. Now, this is very interesting. This is interesting. This is a very interesting fight. You know what? I'm going to go Kavanaugh. Only because I do think Felipe dos Santos isn't that good. Like, I don't think he has that great finishing potential. Even though I think at one moment, I don't think he dropped Cap. I think he just, like, stung Manel Cap. And I think this Kavanaugh dude is going to try to preserve that 8-0 record he lost in his amateur career. I kind of like seeing that because it shows that, like, well, like, the dude knows what a loss is, you know what I mean? So it's not going to be like, you know, he's getting later in the rounds, he's going to be like, oh, fuck, I'm losing, I don't know what to do, and he's not going to be able to pull anything off. Nothing really impressive from this guy. He is shorter. That's fine, because Felipe kind of stands tall. I don't like the reach disadvantage, but I do think Loner Kavanaugh, I think Felipe dos Santos has been figured out. And I think Loner Kavanaugh, if he's good at researching fights, you'll probably be able to beat Felipe dos Santos. Felipe dos Santos seems to do really well if you're charging into him. He's kind of like a... He's like a scrappier counter version of like a Neil Magny, if that makes sense, you know? Maybe a little bit less on the takedown threat, but yeah, I'm not really worried about any finishing potential from the Dos Santos side. Even though it is flyweight, high-paced fight, you know, any one of these guys could get knocked out, submitted, whatever, because that's how flyweight works. But I'm going to trust in Kavanaugh to keep his flawless record here against Felipe dos Santos. I just don't think Dos Santos is that good, personally, from what I've seen. You know, I don't think the other guy's good, but one of them's flawless, one of them has losses. I've seen one of them lose, I haven't seen the other one lose, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it is what it is. So, moving on, we have, where am I? Jai Herbert versus Chris Padilla. You know, everyone's going to remember Jai Herbert getting knocked out by Ilya, and also being the guy to head kick Ilya. I just think Jai Herbert has no IQ. He's got nothing in there, you know? He might hit hard. You know, he might be the taller guy in almost every fight, unless he's going against Jalen Turner, who recently retired. Who did Chris... You know, that's not bad, you know? He beat the wrong Jew. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. That actually aged really well. Oh, oh, my God. Submitted James Long top as well? You know what? I'm going to go with Chris Padilla. This guy's looking fucking good. I'm going to go with TKO Chris Padilla. I think Jai Herbert's just gone. I don't think he has anything in his brain anymore. Every fight I see him, it just looks like he breaks. He's got, like, Jalen Turner mentality, where after round one, if he hasn't, like, dominated, he's fucked. It is what it is, you know? Older now. I don't trust his chin. Chris Padilla, you know, submitting Lawn Top's pretty impressive, considering that Lawn Top survived so long with Gene Silva. Close fight against Gene Silva as well. I know he got his ass whooped, but, you know, if we're looking at numbers here. And then the KO over Rong Zhu's actually aged very well, considering Rong Zhu just had that fucking war against the other guy. Can't remember his name. But that was a sick war. And, you know, Rong Zhu's a fucking high-paced dude, you know? So Chris Padilla, trusting in him to get it done. I'm going to go with KO. I imagine he's probably a heavy favorite, despite, like, all these disadvantages here. And if he's not, hey, that's good money. If he's like a minus 150 or something, I think that's good money. Anyways, moving on. Main card time. We have Morgan Charrier versus Nathaniel Wood. Now, I love my boy Nathaniel Wood. I think he was one of the first guys I bet on to get money. Yeah, you know. It wasn't the Daniel Pineda fight was sick. A nice high-paced fight, really close, you know. Lost to Naimov, aged pretty well. You know, beat Philly, hasn't aged the best. You know, beat my boy Charles Jourdain. Hey, representing Canada. Hey, Charles, you'll get your day, you know. Just focus a little bit, you know, more on your toughness. Stop putting your chin up there and stop getting TKO'd. Stop taking these fights against these fucking freaks like Sean Woodson. You know, clean it up. hey, you'll be champ one day. You know, he's young still, I think, maybe. You know, it was a close fight against Charles Jourdain as well. What fight am I thinking of? Maybe maybe it's the wrong guy I'm thinking of. Maybe it's the Daniel Pineda fight I won money on. Close ass fight. But yeah, I'm going with Morgan Charrier. Despite his record, this dude can fucking scrap. You know, his last fight it was against, before I look at the thing, I'm using my memory here. What's his name? Steve Garcia? I mean Gabriel Miranda. That's, you know, the knockout. I checked Mariscal. Fuck, why did I say Steve Garcia? I knew. Fuck, man. Why did I say Steve Garcia? I get them confused. I get Chepe and, you know, Steve Garcia confused sometime. I don't know. It's the gritty fighter, you know. But, yeah, close-ish fight. He did get outlanded. But, like, man, he scrapped for that fucking whole time, you know. Finishing Gabriel Miranda. Should have done it a little earlier, because Gabriel is an old man. I just think Morgan Charrier is more likely to improve than Nathaniel Wood. And, like, Nathaniel Wood, like, both of these guys can break, but both of them will get scrappy. And I can trust more on Morgan Charrier, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to go with Morgan Charrier, and I think he might... I think it'll be a decision, or it'll be a bloody war, and I think he's probably going to get like a 29-28, 30-27. We move on to Jordan Vucenic versus Chris Duncan. Vucenic, close fight against Garam. That was his debut. A lot of hype behind this kid. Going against Chris Duncan. Chris Duncan's pretty good, although he is kind of, you know, submitted Blagioki is what it is, you know. It's just that Manuel Torres. Don't like seeing that, you know. If I'm not mistaken, didn't he like shoot a takedown and get guillotined? Is that what I'm thinking this was? I think that's what it was. What are his other fights here? I swear he has more. Yanal Ashmuz sucks. Omar Morales isn't too bad. Yeah. So, I'm going to go with Jordan Vucenic over Chris Duncan. Don't know the odds for the fight. Jordan Vucenic, though, had a really good fight against Garam. Arguably won. Didn't look like that bad. Kind of gassed in the later round, but to be fair, he sets a high pace. Chris Duncan, I think, is prone to mistakes. And I think Jordan Vucenic, like, he looks like he's very good at adapting in a fight. So, I'm hoping that Jordan Vucenic will get this done. You know, Chris Duncan still could be, like, a name, but I'm just worried that he's like a Cody Gibbs, like a young Cody Gibson, you know? Like, explosive, but dumb, you know? Shoots takedown when he wobbles an opponent, that type of style, you know? So, yeah, interested to see what happens. Moving on, Molly McCann versus Alexia Thinera. Once again... we have the legendary method here. We'll try flipping it this time. Hopefully I don't fucking drop it. And I fucking dropped it. Jesus Christ. What am I doing? Let's just fucking spin it. Not look. See what we get here, boys. Heads is on the left, tails on the right. What do we got? We got another heads, eh? Okay, so it looks like we're going Molly McCann, lad. Patty the fucking Batty's fucking side piece, lad. I didn't mean that. Patty, don't submit me in public, please. Anyways, it was a joke, okay? I didn't mean anything by it. Anyways, you know, Molly McCann, you know, women are like wine, you know? As they age, they get finer. They taste a lot better. You know, they're easier to go down. Okay, I'm getting a little too off track here. You know, I think this Alexia lady... I don't know why I'm saying this. I don't know anything about Alexia, so I'm, you know, 29-28, Molly McCann. Moving on, we have Garner Nelson versus Kevin Holland. Now, this is an interesting one, because I fucking hate Kevin Holland. I hate ever picking him in a fight. He's not a real fighter. He genuinely shows up for a paycheck, and he goes in there, and it's like, no game plan. He just wants to go in there for a paycheck. That's it. I get why, but you're boring. You have no personality. You're a fucking fake fraud when you're in there. I hate these types of fighters, you know? You know, the fucking Jackson podcast stuff, the fucking yappity yap yap about him being champion. Like, oh my god. I don't care about the belt. Whoa, why the fuck do you guys always care about the belt? Fucking Jesus Christ, man. What an embarrassment to the sport. Holy shit. I think he's on a 3-fight losing streak. Broken rib shows up 4 months later. Like, come on. It's just fucking... I'm gonna go with Gunnar Nelson. Gunnar Nelson looked really good in his last fight. I think it was against Brian Barberena. He submitted him, retired him. I think he's gonna do the same to Kevin Holland. I know Gunnar Nelson's getting old. He's not that old. Like, 36 actually ain't that bad, you know? His reach is gonna be kind of a problem. This is welterweight, which, you know, Kevin Holland can actually do something in welterweight. You know, he's not just a fucking bloated middleweight. You know, he is actually cutting to his actual weight at welterweight. But Kevin Holland's not like a young buck either. I don't think it's going to be a TKO. I think it's just going to be a submission. I think Gunnar Nelson's going to lock in probably an armbar, or a similar submission. Like I could even see like a calf slicer. Gunnar Nelson's really good on the ground. I think Kevin Holland's biggest weakness is any guy who has any good jiu-jitsu whatsoever. You know, I guess except for Michael Chiesa, if you want to consider him decent jiu-jitsu. But yeah, I think Gunnar Nelson gets it done. Honestly, I'm going to go first round submission, and then we're going to see Kevin Holland on a 3-fight losing streak. TKO, submit. Oh no, he submitted McCall. Fuck, man. Why do you have to do that to McCall? Fuck. So this is a 2-fight losing streak. Fuck, I was hoping he was already on a 3 and this was going to be 4. Damn it, man. We're probably going to be stuck with Kevin Holland for another year. Anyways, yeah, I'm going with Gunnar Nelson. I think Gunnar Nelson gets it done by submission. Probably round 1, maybe round 2. After a rough round 1, I think Gunnar's going to be losing until he just snatches up a fucking armbar. I don't think a guillotine. Kevin Holland's not going to shoot. He's probably just going to sit there, wait for strikes. He's going to try to, like, flex or whatever, throw his hands up in the air. Gunnar's going to shoot a takedown. Get a takedown, go for the armbar right off the rip, or, like, a fucking twister. He's going to go for something fucking wild on the ground. So, yeah, I'm going with Gunnar Nelson by submission. Moving on, we have Jan Blachowicz versus Carlos Ulberg. Despite Jan Blachowicz going through all the surgeries, I don't see anything with this Carlos Ulberg guy. I'm just keeping it real. I think Carlos Ulberg, I don't think he's that good, you know? And while he did clearly beat... Oh, man, he's got a reach disadvantage? Oh, my God, really? I think Jan Blachowicz is just going to be too tough. In a 5-rounder, I'd probably go Carlos. In a 3-rounder, I'm going Jan Blachowicz. I just think he's tougher, you know? Like, I don't see Ulberg finishing Jan Blachowicz on the feet. And I know Jan Blachowicz is 42. But, I mean, he's like a Jim Miller from fucking... Where is he from? Poland? I think? Some fucking country like that, right? Legendary Polish power. Yeah, I remember that. All right. Okay, I'm just making sure. But, yeah. Jan Blachowicz... I think he's still got one more in him. Now, I don't think he's going to, like, go back and beat fucking Magomed Ankalaev or, like, rematch with Pereira and beat Pereira, you know what I mean? But, you know, I think Jan Blachowicz, even in his last fight against Pereira, he did pretty successful in the grappling. Arguably one of Pereira's tougher tests in the UFC. And I do think Jan Blachowicz has enough takedown defense to avoid any grappling exchanges, and if we're looking at like a standing battle, I think Jan Blachowicz is just gonna fucking leg kick the shit out of Carlos Ulberg, be ahead on striking. I think there's gonna be moments where it's like Ulberg gets tagged here and there. Like, I just don't see it with Ulberg. I'm sorry. Like, there's like, he had the close fight with before I look, not as I what's his name? Volkan Ozdemir, that's who I was thinking of. And I don't think Ozdemir is really that good, you know? A lot of canceled fights, so... I believe this was Ulberg pulling out as well. I think Ulberg, it was like shoulder surgery or something, right? I swear he had like an injury happen. Canceled. He got knocked out by Kennedy? Yeah, man, I can't pick Ulberg. I can't. I just can't. You know, canceled fight with Jamal Hill, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm just going to go with Jan Blachowicz. I know Jan Blachowicz has gone through a lot of surgery since then, or at least that's like the narrative. So was Olberg, you know? I just think Jan Blachowicz is just going to be tougher. And I don't see him getting finished. And I think Jan Blachowicz is just going to be able to, like, fucking walk through Carlos Olberg. You know? You have to present, like, a danger against Jan Blachowicz to, like, beat him. You know? Like a big submission threat. Or, like, a big fucking right hand, like Pereira, you know? So that you get Jan Blachowicz out of a comfort zone. But I don't think that's going to be possible. And I think Jan Blachowicz is going to just walk through Olberg. Yeah, anyways, moving on. Main event, Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. I predicted this. I manifested this. I said early this year, Leon Edwards was going to win his next fight. And that was when JDM was in the rumors. Fortunately, JDM, Leon Edwards got booked. And I did say, I thought Leon Edwards, if he fought someone like Sean Brady, you know, there's winnable matchups, definitely, in the welterweight division. And I think Sean Brady is probably his most approachable one. I manifested this. And lo and behold, JDM pulls out because he knew he was going to lose that fight. And now we got Sean Brady, Leon Edwards, 5-round main event. I'm going Leon Edwards. You know, I like Sean Brady. I do recognize he's only lost to Belal, but he got TKO'd by Belal. Leon Edwards didn't, you know what I mean? And Leon Edwards had probably the worst performance of any champion ever of any career of all time in his last fight against Belal Muhammad. I don't think that's going to be the Leon Edwards that we see from now on, even though that's what people are going to be feeling, I feel, in this build-up. I think Leon Edwards is just going to land the better punches, and I think Sean Brady might be up on numbers, but it'll be like, but, you know, Leon Edwards landed those low kicks. Leon Edwards landed those body kicks, you know? He didn't do any of that in his last fight, and I fully understand that, and I know he's getting older. He's, what, 33? Yeah, 33 going on 34. But, you know, the reach advantage is still there. The height advantage is still there. The takedown defense that he's been training for every single one of his fights for the past, like, 4 years, you know, is still there. You know, he's got really good wrist control. I know Sean Brady's very good on the ground, but he's not dangerous on the ground. And that's where I think Leon Edwards, like, if Gilbert Burns can survive Sean Brady, I think Leon Edwards can survive Sean Brady on the ground. And then it becomes a who's going to win on the feet. And I do think Sean Brady is going to have success on the feet. I just think Edwards is going to land more powerful strikes, you know? And if we're looking at, like, okay, Edwards is down 3 rounds and we're going into the 4th, I can wager his coaches to try to get Leon Edwards to wake the fuck up, you know? So, yeah, I'm going to go with Leon Edwards, you know? I respect Sean Brady. I can see him winning this fight. I think it's going to be a 3-2 decision. I think Leon Edwards is going to get the nod. You know, I don't think it's going to be like, you know, headshot dead, kind of dead meme. You know, one of the first memes that really got me onto the UFC, not going to lie. So I got a lot of respect for Rocky Edwards, completely biased, but I do think Leon Edwards gets this done. I also don't think Sean Brady's team is, like, that good. I think he trains with the same people like Joe Pyfer. Just going to be honest, none of them are good. Is it shoot to box? Is that what it is? I think it's the shoot to box. None of them have good striking. Sean Brady doesn't have bad striking, but it's not that good, you know? And if he only wants to box with Leon Edwards, he'll probably win the boxing exchanges, but his calf is going to get fucked up. His fucking body's going to get fucked up, and then it's going to be like a, ooh, you know? Sean Brady is, a thick dude for the division, though. I will say that. I won't be surprised if Sean Brady looks like the bigger dude in the matchup, even though it's listed here as Leon Edwards being taller. But yeah, I'm going with Leon Edwards. I think Leon Edwards gets it done. I think it's going to be a 48-47 decision. Unanimous. And yeah, those are my picks and predictions for the fight card of UFC 54. After UFC 54. You know, Google, fix your shit. Anyways, with all that being said, I want to thank you for making it all the way to the end of this video. And as always, I hope you have a good day. Jawline check real quick. Anyway.